Welcome to Cooking with Nathan. It's your boy, Nathan Villains. And today, we're going to be doing some steak and potatoes and also broccoli. A little fun fact about steak. I don't have a fun fact about steak. But I already got some ribeyes marinating. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what the marinade is made out of and then all that fun shit. I'm going to go ahead and take this off so we can begin our journey. Welcome to Cooking with Nathan. All right.
Yeah. Cooking with Nathan. We cooking with Nathan. You cooking with Nathan. Cooking with Nathan. Cooking with Nathan. You cooking with Nathan. Cooking with Nathan. Cooking with Nathan. You cooking with Nathan. Who's cooking? I'm cooking. We cooking. You cooking. You cooking with Nathan.
So the first thing you're gonna need is a container to put your meat in. And then what you're gonna do, you're gonna take some of this here, Worcester, some W sauce. And then you're going to use one of these fancy schmancy measuring cups. You're gonna get the half here, and you're gonna pour some of the Worcestershire sauce into about the half cup measurement. Boom. And then you throw that shit in there. Then you want a quarter cup of soy sauce. I'm using the light stuff today because I gotta watch my blood pressure. And boom. That goes right in there as well. Oh, shit. And then you're gonna get some Frank's Red Hot. That's my hot sauce of choice. You might like some Louisiana, whatever tickles your pickle, man. You're gonna throw that into here. There's a lot more than I intended to go in there. I'm not gonna lie to you. We'll see how these steaks turn out, right? Next thing we're gonna do is throw about 3 cloves of that there garlic into our marinade. So we do our thing. You want to be rough with the garlic. The garlic is not your friend. It is a means to an end. You feel me? And that end is some delicious marinade. Now, if you see any marks like that on your clove of garlic, you don't have to throw the whole thing away, just cut that away. It's a lot like a potato in that respect. And then you chop them. Now again, I like my garlic real fine when it goes into stuff, because if any garlic particulates stay on the meat, you want them to be palatable and not offensive, is the way I would describe it. Okay. The rapper Sticky Fingers got his name because he used to cut a lot of garlic. The more you know. Alright, so once you're done with your garlic, you put it right into the mixture, like so. Don't do what I'm doing, that's dangerous, but I am a professional, just kidding. I bet I look like a pro. Now you're gonna take a half a lemon, and usually I have one of those instruments where you squeeze like that, but I don't on set today. I got a juicer usually. I'm just gonna use my hands today. When you juice a lemon with your hand, make sure you hold it this way so that if the seeds pop out, they go into your hand and not into the marinade, like so. And then you really wanna turn it, try to capture as many seeds as you can in your hands so they don't go into the mixture. And really crush that motherfucker down. Get all that juice out of there. Then we're going in the trash with that. Wipe my hands off. And then what I got here is some ginger. This is my secret and most devastating ingredient that goes into here. Because once you got the hot sauce, you got the Worcestershire sauce, that garlic, you want some grated ginger to give it a little more depth. So we're just gonna do like that. And I think that's about good. So once the ginger's into there, you want to give it a good mix with maybe a spoon, perhaps a fork. Make sure it's up to your taste. Get a little bit on the spoon and just... Now, well, it's not like I put it back in the thing. Come on, you think I'm a savage? Maybe a little bit. So we got some ribeyes in here. In this one, we are throwing some tri-tip steaks. It is Angus grade, so you don't got to be a snob when it comes to that. At least I got something a little fancier than, like, I don't know, stew meat. That would be fucking weird. And then when we put them in here, you want to dab them and then flip them over so you get good coverage. And then while they're marinating, you want to come back every now and again and give the container a good shake, just so you're getting and maintaining that coverage. Also, when you're working with something like a ribeye, since there is the acidity from the lemon and the hot sauce in there, you don't want to leave it for too much longer than 2 hours because the meat itself will start to break down. So you want to avoid over marinating it. However, if you're going to marinate it, about a half an hour is the least amount of time you want it to be in there. Anything under that, you might as well not even marinate it. So we're just going to put that over here. And next we're going to move on to our potatoes. Now in the sink, I got them chilling in this water so they don't turn brown. I have already peeled them. And what we're going to do with these is just cut them into 1 by 1 inch cubes. And to do that, I like to cut off the ends so I have the middle to work with. And I can kind of expand from there. And those are going to go back into the bowl. Now we're not going to fry these directly. There is a technique that I'm going to use that I will show you as we progress. You know what I'm saying? I had a beef stick before the show, like a Jack Link's beef stick, and it's not sitting with me very well, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's vital information that you needed to know. Okay, it's about good. So something like this would be the ideal size for the potatoes we're making. Be careful too, make sure your knife's sharp because potatoes like to jump and slide. Kind of like your mom. All right, so next thing you're gonna do is take your salt. You're gonna come over here. You're going to salt a pot of water that is about 3/4 full, pretty liberally. And then you're gonna turn it on to high heat. Then you're gonna come back, you're gonna grab your taters, and then you're just gonna pour them right in, just like that. Some people like to wait for it to boil. I do not. I just figure it kind of streamlines the process. Ignore that, she was just talking, okay? So while that's happening, you can come back here and start preheating your fryer. Now today I have with me a vintage, not even sure of the brand name, Sunbeam. like little skillet thing that you can use to cook all kinds of shit in. I'm pretty sure it's an antique, but it's kind of fucked up, so we haven't been able to, you know, sell it or anything because we like to use it to fry things. And for this particular potato, you're not going to go full on with the frying to begin with. It's a 2-fry process, and the first one is going to be about 230. You're going to fry the potatoes for 230, pull them out, let them cool off, and then fry them again. So let's fucking do it. All right, so while your potatoes are boiling and you got your fryer preheated, you want to come over here, and before you even get the potatoes in, you want to put the oil in. And the reason I heated it up before the oil is because the chance for stickage is significantly less. So we're gonna go ahead and pour this in. I'm using vegetable oil, but you can use peanut oil if you're allergic to peanuts. You can use canola, whatever you want to use. It's a matter of personal preference. These are going to come out really crispy and nice regardless of what you use. If you follow my directions and my directions alone, don't run to Gordon Ramsay. He's going to steer you down the one cook method alley, and you just don't want that because your potatoes come out very disappointing in English. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's wait for that to heat up, and then we're going to pull our potatoes and get to moving. All right, so once your potatoes are soft, you're going to want to remove them from the heat, and then you're gonna bring them over to your colander, which is conveniently ready in the sink, and then you're gonna pour them on in here. Now, some of these are gonna be bigger than other ones. They're not gonna be uniform, but nothing in the universe is really too uniform. Go ask your girl. Look at her eyebrows. They're sisters and not twins, am I right? I don't know why I'm walking back here, because you're going to want to immediately fill the pan with water again. And I'll show you why here in a minute. Okay, I'll show you why now. So you're gonna wanna boil your broccoli if you're having broccoli with it, like I am. And most people, they like to cut the broccoli off the stalk before they boil it, but I don't. I find that it's easier to cut them after you boil them. There's less resistance, and broccoli heads don't fly fucking everywhere. So that's good. We don't want to get plastic in there. We're gonna throw that right away. But this is a good way to make your steamed broccoli easily. It is streamlined for your time, and we don't have a lot today. So let's bring these back over here. Put them on the burner, and then proceed to boil again. If possible, go ahead and orient them so that they're heads down. And we're gonna let those potatoes steam themselves for about 5 minutes before we put them in the oil. Now that our potatoes have been steaming for 5 minutes, it's time to transfer them into the fryer. So you wanna bring them over here and then give a little tester, make sure your oil's frying. You can see these little bubbles. It's not as hot as it normally would be, but it is actually frying them. You can see there's tiny little bubbles. They're there. Just pop one in after another, because you don't want this shit splashing all over the place. Eventually, I will get impatient and I will try to put them all in. How are your taters doing? Good, I hope. I told you I'd get impatient. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. Not on film. You might have to do this in batches because eventually it'll fill up the pan. And when that happens, it is a pain in the ass, but you know, fuck it, right? YOLO. So while you got your potatoes going, you want to start prepping. Okay. Oh, sorry. You want to start prepping your cast iron skillet, and for that you want to get how much is that? Like 2 tablespoons of butter set to the side for throwing it in there later. Then you're going to want to come over here, and while you're over here, you're going to want to make sure you turn on the right burner. Turn it on to about medium-high. I'd say more on the high side. And then wait for it to heat up. Once it does heat up, you're gonna throw some extra virgin olive oil in there. And then we're gonna throw some butter in there. Check on your broccoli while you're over here. It's greening up pretty nice. Those will be done pretty soon. And we'll move on from there. Ritz, bitch. Okay, so now what we're going to do is put the olive oil in the cast iron skillet. Once it starts shimmering, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of butter. And this is where it's gonna get real smoky. We're gonna set off some smoke alarms. So if you hear some droning in the background moving forward, it's because those are the precautions we have to take. So there's not an even more noise out. Go ahead and plop those in there. Get as sloppy as you want. Ba-boom, ba-boom. Wait for those to melt down. Now, with a recipe like this, it's okay for the butter to be a little bit brown, but you want to go ahead and slap these on here as soon as possible. I'm actually going to take this off for a second. We might have to reshoot this. All right, Ritz, bitch. So once your skillet is preheated, you're going to want to put the extra virgin olive oil right there in the center. And once it starts to shimmer, you're going to drop 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Now, as I just learned, you don't want it to be too hot or it's gonna instantly burn. You want a happy medium, because we want to sear those steaks. We don't want them to taste like swamp water. Now I got my special blend of spices. I started with Montreal steak seasoning. I just kind of punched it up a little bit. You got a couple extra notes of garlic in there, some sea salt, stuff like that. Make sure you get good coverage on the steak. And the trick is to catch the butter after it browns, but before it turns black. Then you take the first one, and then boom. Take the second one. And then boom. Now I'm gonna be completely honest. Usually I don't cook these side by side because there is a chance that the steam will cook the sides of each steak and it won't be the way you like it. There's a chance it might not form the crust, but hopefully the gods are on our side today and it won't be like that. But I guess we'll see. Yeah. Now, while you got your steak going, you're gonna wanna come back over here, make sure your potatoes are still going. And after about 5-10 minutes in the pre-fry, you're going to take them out and set them aside. And then you're going to preheat your oil to 350 degrees instead of the 230, 260 area that we were just on. And what this is going to do is give you a very crispy outside of the potato while the inside remains nice and fluffy. These might take forever, but the payoff is well worth the work and the time. It's an investment. These potatoes, think of them like an investment. You know what I mean? You invest your time, your reward is some potatoes that fucking slap. You know what I'm saying? Good. Good. You're not as dumb as you look. Then you're going to come back over here, give these a good flip. You can see how well that crust is developing. This one has a little, this one's going to be a little better, more well done than this one over here, but that's kind of what we want because not everybody's preferences are the same. And in this day and age, we have to consider everybody's preferences. Am I right? Well, to each their own, right? Those are your preferences. So let those go for about another 4 to 6 minutes. 6 if you like well done, 4 if you like medium well, or medium rare is what I meant to say. Then we'll pull them off. We're gonna let them rest. We're gonna cook the tri-tips, and we're gonna continue from there. All right, once your oil is preheated, we are going to start, we're gonna start putting these potatoes back into the oil. We wanna do it a scoop at a time, and you wanna be gentle so they don't lose their form completely. A little texture is fine, but you don't wanna go overboard and have them turn into fried mashed potatoes, because that would be fucking weird. Oops. Try to avoid doing that too. Then we're gonna let these go for a good minute. Luckily, we're not over an active burner, so there's very little chance that this will start a fire if it leaks everywhere. And we're just gonna let those sit. We're gonna come over here to the steaks. Make sure you have your plate ready. Bada bing, you know what I'm saying? And we're actually gonna pull this one first. Just kidding, we're gonna pull this one first because look at that crust. Bam, dog. That's a good looking steak. We're gonna give that one another minute. We're going to find a different place for it, probably in the middle where it's a little hotter, so it gives it that good sear. And then we're gonna get our tri-tips ready to go onto the cast iron. All right, so when your potatoes get to about this color, you're gonna wanna pull them, like so. Put them directly. I like to use a colander so that way any excess oil can drip down to wherever it needs to go. And then you can season them and wait for your next batch, unless you only have one batch, in a bigger fryer. I feel like I have like Bob Ross energy right now. I feel like I'm like hip hop Bob Ross today. These aren't mistakes. These are just happy little accidents. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make these potatoes into happy potatoes. There's not a sad potato around here, are they? Yeah. All I need is a pet squirrel in my pocket, like trying to gnaw at my lapel mic. Go ahead and turn it on. While you got your second batch of potatoes in here, you got the first ones chilling, already seasoned. What we're gonna do is, if your broccoli is ready, we're gonna come over here, we're gonna grab one of the stalks. Make sure you get a good amount of the water out of there. You see that shit? Don't let nobody talk to you like that. This is Nathan Villains telling you not to let shit talk shit to you. You know what I'm saying? Then we're gonna bring it over to the cutting board. Once over here, at a downward angle you want it, and then you can just start cutting them off like that. Thank you. And they just fall off like butter. Like butter, baby. Discard the stalk unless you want to keep it for broccoli cheddar soup. Into this, I like to add just a little salt. This is actually pepper. So, and then the salt goes on there as well. Boom, it's done. I'm gonna start getting plated, but as always, I don't know what to say after that. On there, bada bing. I need somewhere to put this broccoli. For now. You want to take your steak, transfer it to the cutting board, I like to start down here and cut diagonally. It's against the grain. Kind of crisscross so that way you get a good midsection. Very important you let your meat rest, and look at that, perfect medium. We're gonna go ahead and scrape that together. Actually, I'm gonna cut this in half. Just kidding. I don't wanna fuck up a steak like that. Transfer that onto the plate, give it a little schmutz in there for presentation, and then put some of these potatoes. Now, the pièce de la résistance, or whatever the kids are saying nowadays, the garnish. You don't ever want to forget your garnish. Gonna get that. We're gonna fold the chives up like so, and just cut them like this, because the garnish kind of sets the mood for the plate. And I personally like the flavor of chives. They're like mini green onions. They're like green onions light, you feel me? So we're gonna scrape them up and just go over the potatoes, follow that little happy trail I made, and onto the steak. There you have it. Ribeyes, crispy potatoes, and broccoli. That's gonna do it for Cooking with Nathan today. Thank you for tuning in. I hope your meal comes out as scrumtrelescent as this one did. Don't forget to Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you share the video. Special shout out to Mythic Underground for making this video possible. I'll see you in the next one. Deuces. All right, now I can try some of this.